All right, I want to go over some of the 9.9 problems that end up with quadratics that are a little bit harder to solve. So starting off with this one here, we still use the formula outside times the whole thing. So if I start off with the left segment here, I'm going to have 9 times the whole thing is 2x plus 1 plus 9. And then the second one will be 10 is the outside, and the whole thing will be, how do I write that? X plus 3 plus 10. So simplifying this just a little bit, this will be 9 and then 2x plus 10 equals 10, x plus 13. So I end up getting 18x plus 90 and 10x plus 130. This gives me 8x equals 40, and x is, what is 40 divided by 8? I should be able to do that in my head. 5. All right, so that one's not a quadratic one. That one's just a warm-up. Next up, this one should be a quadratic. So we do the 2 segments times the 2 segments. So starting off, I'm going to have 8 times 5 equals, and then x minus 6 times x. So 40 equals x squared minus 6x. The way that I like to solve these is put them all equal to 0. So I'm going to have, well, 0 equals x squared minus 6x minus 40. And then I'd really like to factor this. So I'm going to try to factor it. I'll say, well, what can I split 40 up into that will end up giving me a 6? Well, we have 5 and 8. We could split that up into that. We could say 10 and 4. Now, 10 and 4 would give me 6. 10 minus 4, or in this case, I think we're going to do negative 10 and positive 4. So we're going to have x minus 10 and x plus 4. This means that x equals negative 4 or 10. Well, since we're talking about distances, negative 4 doesn't really make sense, so x is 10. All right. So this was our first quadratic one, and it's a quadratic because it has the x squared term, right? Try to factor it. Get it all 0 equals your x squared, your x, and then your constant, and then factor it. Remember, whenever we factor, you find things that multiply to be the last term and add up to be the middle term. All right, next up, we're going to do the outside times the whole thing. So x times x plus x minus 2. Erase that. Right. The outside is x. The whole thing is x plus x minus 2. Yep. Equals 3, and then times 3 plus 5. So just simplifying this, I'll have x and then 2x minus 2 equals 3 times 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so we're going to have 2x squared minus 2x equals 24. I'll set that equal to 0, so 2x squared minus 2x minus 24 equals 0. Whenever we factor things, it's a lot easier if that constant in the front, or if that coefficient in the front is a 1. So I'm going to divide everything by 2. So x squared minus x minus 12 equals 0. Remember, we have a negative 1 in front of our x there, so we want it to add to be negative 1 and multiply to be negative 12. So we have to make our factor tree for 12. 4 and 3 works in there. If we did a negative 4 and a positive 3, we'd get that. We'd be able to get our negative 1. So let's say x minus 4, x plus 3. So x equals negative 3 or 4. Now, negative 3 doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Oops. So we're going to say, well, x equals 4. All right. So again, at this step, we set it equal to 0. But then to get to this step, we divided everything by 2 because we wanted to get rid of that coefficient. If you cannot get rid of the coefficient, and I think all these you can, but if you cannot, you're going to use the quadratic formula, would be what I would suggest. So remember that is x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And you could use the quadratic formula on this problem, but I'd say that factoring is a little bit easier. So, all right, next up, looking at the left segment first, the outside is x plus 1. The whole thing will be x plus 1 plus x minus 1. And then we have 7 and 7 plus 9. So simplifying this, x plus 1, and then we're going to have 2x, and the 1's cancel, equals, what's that? 7 times 16 is going to be 112, right? 7 plus 9 is 16, right? Yes, no. Yes. Oh, really, I should have parentheses around that. I apologize. Right, on the left here, I should have parentheses. All right, now I'm going to distribute my x and my plus 1 there. So this is going to be 2x squared plus 2x equals 112. So 2x squared plus 2x minus 112 is 0. Remember, we need to get these equal to 0. And now dividing everything by 2, because we want that coefficient of the quadratic term to be 1, right? Quadratic term means the x squared term. So x squared plus 1x minus 56 equals 0. So now we need things that multiply to be negative 56 and add to be 1. This could be 9 and, no, not 9. 13 can split that up, can't it? 56 divided by 13, nope. How about 12? No. I'm just typing random numbers in my calculator. Oh, looks like 8 and 7 would work. So if I did a positive 8 and a negative 7, that would add up to be 1, and that would work. So x plus 8, x minus 7 equals 0. Well, that tells me that x is going to be negative 8 or 7. And as before, a negative number doesn't make sense, so x is 7. All right, those were just a couple of quadratic problems, and hopefully that helps you out. Let me know if you need more help.